Welcome. In this playthrough Marvel Champions card game, we have Ironheart taking on the Sinister Six in Expert mode. So down at the table for setup for our villain, we have the Sinister Synchronization. So we've got our Sinister Six here along with Guerrilla Tactics, Standard cards, and Expert cards. For setup, we're going to choose X villains at random, where X is one more than the number of players. Put those villains into play, place an active counter on the villain with the lowest activation order value, and set the other villains aside. Then put the light at the end side scheme into play, trap side face up. And then on this side, it's going to go to 8, starting with 2 threat on it. Ambush is a special. Choose a set-aside villain at random, put that villain into play, and place the inactive counter on it. In Expert mode, we'll be placing additional 2 threat on light at the end. Force Interrupt, when a villain would activate. If no villain is in play, resolve this card's ambush ability, then continue that activation. We do have a second main scheme there. Light at the end, permanent with hinder 10 per player. Also has another 10 threat coming in. Players cannot win unless they escape. Force Interrupt. When the last threat is removed from this scheme, resolve the ambush ability on the main scheme, then flip this card over. And then we've got another hinder of 10, comes in with 5. Players cannot win unless they escape. Force Interrupt. When the last threat is removed from this scheme, the players escape and win the game. And we've got 6 different villains here. So we've got Hobgoblin. Basically, they've got an activation order, a special force response. After they attack and damage you, something's going to happen. Then we're going to move the active counter to the next villain in the activation order. And they all have a 1 defeated, remove 4 threat from the side scheme, 7 threat instead if there are no other villains in play, and set the villain aside. And they all have a little bit different health. So it goes up to 8 or 9, Dr. Ock with 8. Electro with 8 health, Scorpion with 10, Vulture with 7, and Craven the Hunter with 9. And now I'm playing with Ironheart, who has 3 different forms. We're starting with version 1, Thwart of 1, attack of 2, 3 defense. Level up, action, remove 6 progress counters from Ironheart. Ready her and swap her with version 2. Hand size of 4, health of 10. Recovery of 3 and alter ego. Begin the game with this card, set your other identities aside. Child Prodigy, as an action, spend a mental resource, place a progress counter on Riri, limit once per round. And then going with leadership, so I've got 2 power of leaderships, then 3 go all outs, 3 push ahead, then inspired and laser blaster, then going with some allies, Mariah Hill, Squirrel Girl, Ant-Man, White Tiger, Stinger, Yondu, Hawkeye, and another version of Hawkeye. In our basic cards, we have our 3 double resources, Ingenuity, a Helicarrier, Endurance, and a Sidearm. All right, so taking our villains, going to shuffle these up and get 2 out. So we're going to be starting with Hobgoblin and Dr. Octopus. I'll put the active counter on Ock there. Have these off to the side. Then shuffle our encounter deck. Then get our 6 cards for Ironheart. So we'll be starting with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, Ant-Man, Stroke of Genius, Push Ahead, Endurance, Power of Leadership, and Squirrel Girl. Going to pitch these 3. Going into Inspired, Helicarrier, and a Sector Scan. All right, we're going to use her ability, spending a mental resource. So after you spend this card, place a progress counter on your identity and draw a card. So we're getting 1 for that, 1 for this. And drawing a card into a Genius. Going to use that to bring in a Helicarrier. Exhaust it, choose a player, reduce the resource cost of the next card. That player plays this phase by 1. Then we'll bring in Squirrel Girl. 4 to 1, attack 1, 2 health. After she enters play, deal a damage to each enemy. And I'm just going to use dice for that. Make her next card cheaper. Inspired. Attached to an ally, giving them +1 thwart and attack. So let's see, we're going to thwart for 2. And then flip over and attack for 2. And we'll put that on the Hobgoblin. And end her turn. Drawing up to 4. Hawkeye, Flyover, Stroke of Genius, and a Laser Blaster. So grab a threat. Doc Ock is active. So attacking for 2, going to defend with Squirrel Girl. So 1, 2, let's see, give the villain an additional boost card for this activation. Put this minion into play, engage with you. All right, so Squirrel Girl is out. He's activated. And the way I word these is 2 separate things, so they're whether they scheme, attack, do damage, or whatever. I'm moving the activation order. Not 100% sure on that. I'll let someone else decide those rules. All right, this one. In expert mode, life-size decoy gains toughness. The engaged player cannot thwart side schemes. And earn a counter card. The villain and each minion engaged with you attacks you. All right, Hobgoblin is coming at us. We're going to defend, so it's a base 1. No boost. We take 0 damage. We'll move the activation over. Attacks for 0, and we're fine. We're going to bring in Hawkeye. 4-1, attacking 1-3 health. He enters play with 4 arrow counters on him. After minion enters play, remove a counter from him to deal 2 damage to that minion. We are having this, Stroke of Genius, placing a progress counter and drawing a card. So we're up to 3. And drawing in to go all out. Get our tokens. We are going to attack for 1. And I'm going to flip on over, use our ability, discarding a mental to get our 4th token. And end our turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right. Tony Stark AI, Photon Beam, Hyundu, Flyover, Stinger, and New and Improved. So we get a threat. Schemed On by Doc Ock for 1, 2. Go ahead and move that counter. That guy schemes for 0. Let's see. In expert mode, this card gains Insight 1 and cannot be canceled. When revealed, put the set aside Doc Ock and Scorpion into play. If Doc Ock is already in play, confuse a character you control. Go ahead and confuse there. And we need to find Scorpion, whose activates number 5. And back to our turn. All right, we're going to discard a mental to get another token. Flip over. Make our next card cheaper. Do a flyover. Hero action, remove 3 threat. Let's see, cannot thwart. Never mind, hold on. Still going to make our next card 1 cheaper. Photon Beam, deal 4 damage to an enemy and place a progress counter on Ironheart. We'll hold off on that. We're going to attack for 1. I'll get this right here shortly. Attack for 1. Now Photon Beam, deal 4 damage to an enemy, which is going to defeat this guy. If we defeated that enemy, we get 2 progress tokens. Then we will attack for 2. We're going to spend 6, so remove 6 counters from Ironheart. Ready her and swap her with version 2. So thwart of 2, attack of 2, defense of 3. Still need 6 counters to go up to the next level, but our hand size is now 5. And I'm going to thwart for 2. Then do a flyover, remove 3 threat from a scheme. If removes all the threat on that scheme, we're going to get 2 progress counters. So right up to 2. And ender turn. 5 cards now. Ronnie, Mariah Hill, New and Improved, Energy, and Hawkeye. Get a threat, getting attacked by Hobgoblin. Going to have Hawkeye defend. Let's see. Deal 1 indirect damage to each player. Expert mode, deal 1 additional indirect damage to the first player. So we're going to take 2 damage. Indirect we can assign as however we want to the characters we control. Damage comes through, Hawkeye goes away. It's no longer confused. That's going to move over. Counter card, place 4 threat on each side scheme. Well, we've definitely got one. It's not the way we wanted that to go, though. And back to our turn. We're going to bring in Miss Heal, thwart a 2, attack a 1, 2 health. After she enters play, each player draws a card. A Photon Beam. Thwart for 2. We're going to keep this down to a minimum. Make our next card 1 cheaper to bring in Ronnie Williams. It's an alter ego action, exhaust it, choose to either heal 2 damage or place a progress counter on her. Photon Beam, deal 4 damage to an enemy, place a progress counter on Ironheart. 2 if we defeated that enemy. We are going to do 4 to Hobgoblin, which will take him up to 9, so he's defeated. So we're going to get 2 counters. Then we're going to attack for 2. And flip over and get another counter. And end your turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Push ahead, some jets, ingenuity, photon blasters, the sidearm, and the power of leadership. So we get a threat. Scorpion is scheming for base 0, 2. Oh, forgot. When we took care of the other one, we removed 4 threat from over here. And we've got 2 threat on this one from him scheming. Counter card, Partnership of Pain. When revealed, alter ego. Let's see, he activated. That moved it down. Villain with the lowest activation order value schemes with plus X scheme. And the plus X is equal to the total scheme of all other villains in play, which is a 0 for that. So this first or the lowest. So scheming for 2, just 2. And back to us. All right, we're going to use our helicarrier. Bring in the next card 1 cheaper. Play only if your identity has a genius trait, which we do. Max 1 per player is a resource exhausted to generate a mental resource. Then we're going to exhaust it for a mental resource. We're going to heal for 2 with her. Going up to 10. Then we'll flip over. Then we're going to thwart for 2. Spin 6. So ready her, give her a tough status, and swap with version 3. All right, so we're tough. So now remove a progress counter from her to deal 2 damage to an enemy. Thwart of 3, attack of 2, defense of 3. We're going to go ahead and thwart for 2. Bring in some photon blasters. We get plus 2 hit points. As a hero action, exhausted, deal damage to an enemy equal to our version number. So we're up to 12 health. Doing 3 damage somewhere, so up to 6. Then we will attack for 2 to finish this version, which will remove 4 threat from a side scheme. And end her turn. We also have a hand size of 6 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. White Tiger, Strength, go all out, ×2, push ahead, and brawn. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I kept one card in hand. So brawn, push ahead, go all out, ×2, strength, and we kept the jets. All right, 1 threat. Getting attacked for base 3. And put this minion into play. We lose our toughness. Attacks for 0. Ooh, and he is tough now. And counter card, of course he's active. The villain attacks you. We'll defend, see if we get lucky. We did. 3 damage coming in. Defense of 3, no damage. All right, we're going to bring in our jets, giving us +2 health, up to 14. Exhaust the jets, remove threat from a scheme equal to our version number. We'll remove 3. We're going to spin this to deal 2 damage to an enemy to get rid of tough. Then deal 3 damage. Make our next card 1 cheaper. To bring in brawn, thwart a 2, attack of 3. While he's exhausted, he gains resource, generate a mental one. Well, let's see here. Yeah, we're still doing that. I guess 1 cheaper. We'll use that to help bring him out. And we're going to keep pushing ahead. Then he's going to attack for 3. Then we're going to flip over. Use his ability to generate a mental resource for her to get a token. Then use her to get another token. And end her turn. Drawing up to 6, so push ahead, white tiger, photon beam, grab an encounter card, shuffle up. And 3 more cards, Ant-Man, Laser Blaster, and Yondu. Nice. So we get a threat. He schemes for base 0, 2. And counter card, first one. In expert mode, this card gains surge and cannot be canceled. Resolve the ambush ability on the main scheme. If no villain was put in play this way, place 3 threat on light at the end. Yeah, we're kind of skimming along, but we're really not progressing. So special ability, choose a set aside villain at random, put that villain into play and place the active counter on it. In expert mode, place 2 threat on light at the end. All right, so Craven the Hunter's coming in and he's going to be active. He's number 4. And 2 threat comes out on that one. And that's surged into Insight 1, cannot be canceled. Put the set aside Electro and Craven the Hunter into play. If Electro is already in play, he's not. Craven's already in play. Discard the lowest cost card you control. Well, that's going to be Ronnie Williams. And we're looking for Electro, who activates second. And did I? Yep. Put him in the wrong spot. All right, then coordinated effort. Each enemy gains an acceleration icon. That's not good. Comes in with 6 threat on it. All right, back to our turn. And he does have a damage on him. All right, using her ability to get another token. Then we're going to flip over, make our next card 1 cheaper. To bring in Yondu. 4 to 2, attack of 1, no consequential damage. His attacks get ranged. And we're going to put a laser blaster on him, attached to a guardian ally. Gets overkill and +1 attack. Then he's going to swing for 2. We're going to remove 3 threat from a scheme, which is going to be that one, and then thwart for 3. And then deal 3 damage. Up to 5. Spend 2 tokens for 4 more damage. Take out Craven, which will remove 4 threat from over here. And attack for 3. And we'll go on, Electro. So that's going to be your turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, push ahead, go all out, power of leadership, stinger, inspired, and a stroke of genius. Get a threat, getting attacked by Electro. So his is if he attacks and damages you, discard the top 7 cards of your deck. But we're just going to have Brawn take it. For 1, 2, 3. In expert mode, this card gets +2 icons for this activation. That's fine. Brawn is down. Except this guy was activating. Still doesn't matter. Just moves over to him now. Then encounter card, Surge, reveal the top card in encounter deck. Attach to the villain with the highest attack. If you cannot resolve the ambush ability, you can attack villains. Cannot attack villains who do not have a attached copy of Take 1 for the team. So the highest attack is Scorpion, so we have to go after him first. And that surged into another surge and exhaust our identity. And now, minor setback, remove 1 progress counter from your identity, then discard this card. No progress counter was removed this way. Deal herself a face down encounter card, and then shuffle this card into the encounter deck. But we are removing 1. All right, back to our turn. Removing 3 threat from a scheme. Dealing 3 damage. Make your next card cheaper. Inspired, +1 thwart, +1 attack on an ally. So he's attacking for 3. I'm going to bring in Stinger. After you spin this card, we get a progress counter and draw a card. And play only if your identity has the Avenger trait. So I should not have put her in this stack, because we are not an Avenger. So I'll learn. See, what do we got there? 3. He's scheming for 2. I do want to stay in this form. We're going to flip over anyway. Use her ability on this to get basically 2 progress counters and draw a card. Into Mariah Heal, which we will bring into play. Actually, we'll pitch that and use Integrity. When she enters play, we draw a card. Into a push ahead, thwart for 2. Ending our turn, we are going to, let's see here. Let's do some damage. We'll go all out and keep power of leadership. All right. Drawing 6 cards, Flyover, Energy, Squirrel Girl, Photon Beam, and we've got these 2. So we get a threat. Electro Schemes for base 2, and only 2. We'll move that over. Encounter card. In expert mode, this card gains Surge. See, when revealed, resolve the ambush ability on the main scheme, and we're definitely putting 1 out. We get 2 more threat over there. And we're going to bring in Hobgoblin, activates 3rd. And, whoops. Once again, I keep throwing those cards over here. Guess instead of that, I'll shuffle with all 4 of them in there. And Vulture comes out, activating 6. And he becomes active. And discard an upgrade or support we control. Nope. It's going to be Ingenuity. All right, back to our turn. We are going to flip over, remove 3 threat from a scheme, deal 3 damage to an enemy, taking that to 9, and deal the killing blow to remove 4 threat. Oops, remember to put that in the right spot. Then we're going all out. Exhaust your hero, deal damage to an enemy equal to the total of your hero's thwart, attack, and defense values. So that's going to be 8 damage. And we're going to take out Vulture, which is going to remove 4 more threat from over here. Bring in Squirrel Girl. After she enters play, deal a damage to each enemy. Make your next card 1 cheaper. Photon Beam, deal 4 damage to an enemy and place a progress counter on Ironheart. 2 if it defeats that enemy. We are defeating him. So we're going to get 2 counters. And when the last one's removed, we're going to take care of 7 threat, which will get us to the next level. So hinder 10, so we're getting 15 on this. Players cannot win unless they escape. When the last threat is removed from this scheme, the players escape and win the game. So when the last threat is removed from this scheme, resolve the ambush ability on the main scheme and flip this card. All right, so Craven is back out. And no, he's not. We're going to put all of them in here. And Vulture is out. In our next expert mode. So that's adding 2 threat over here. So we're actually getting 17 on this one. Attack for 3. Attack for 1. And we'll just hold on to Mariah a little bit more. Actually, no, we won't. Attack for 1. Takes it up to 5. And then spins, deal 2 more damage. Take care of Vulture, which is going to remove 7 threats from the scheme. And end her turn. One, two, three, four, five, 6. All right, strength, Tony Stark, Hawkeye, sidearm, power of leadership, and new and improved. So we add a threat. All right. When a villain would activate, if no villain is in play, resolve this card's ambush ability and continue that activation. So ambush ability means we get 2 threat over there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Got them all in. And Craven is attacking us. And by us, I mean Squirrel Girl. For base 2, 3 damage. And encounter card +1. Attach the villain with the highest activation order. If you cannot, do the ambush. So it gets +X, where X is equal to the number of villains in play. And then The villain with the highest activation order value attacks you, plus X, where X is equal to the total attack of other villains in play. So he's attacking us for base 2. And if he attacks and damages us, we choose to discard a support or upgrade. We're going to defend and hope. So he's coming at us with 3. We made it. Got lucky again. All right, back to our turn. Make your next card 1 cheaper. Bring in a sidearm attached to an ally, max 1 per ally. Gets +1 attack and range, so now he's attacking for 4. Then we can deal 3 damage to an enemy, to 7. And then 2 more damage will defeat, which removes 7 threat. Use that to remove 3 threat. Then new and approved. Choose X different options where X is equal to our version number. We are version 3. Search your deck for an Ironheart card and add it to your hand. Give us a tough status card and ready Ironheart. Well, we'll just say we're getting a Photon Blast. We're ready. We're tough. And then we thwart for 3 and we escape. So we found the light at the end of the tunnel. Ironheart was rather easily able to build up and keep control of the board. So as always, hope you enjoyed this playthrough. So please click on the like button below and be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.